LeBron James dropped a bomb to the media. We could do a whole video on this quote. He was asked, "What's wrong with your team?" And then he just says this.
There's just some things that you really can't control that's here that I really don't want to talk about. That's kind of like off the floor. But, you just try to be, be there for your teammates.
What? What the hell was that? As if the Lakers don't have enough to worry about with their offense. Now there's some off-court issue that he won't talk about? Look, if there ever was a scenario where a 1 seed would lose to an 8 seed again, this weird bubble situation is it. In this video, we're talking about how off the Lakers are right now and what will happen when the Blazers meet them in the first round of the playoffs. Hey, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops. Hit subscribe and notification bells because we're coming out with 5 videos per week, dropping at 5 Eastern, Monday through Friday. And today's video is sponsored by mybookie.ag. If you want to help out the channel and get a little something extra for yourself to put on these games, enter the promo code AMHOOPS. It'll double your deposit. And with that deposit, you can pick games. And MyBookie is asking me to pick games for you guys. So we've had 2 videos sponsored by them so far. 2 picks in each video, and the picks are 3 and 1. So we're on a roll here, and today we've got 2 more best picks. And the first pick, the late game and the Toronto Raptors as 2-point favorites over the Boston Celtics. We have yet to see a consistent Celtics team, but the Raptors are 3-0 in the bubble. I am riding the Raps until they prove us otherwise. Even with a small win, we get a push. Pick 2 is under 236 in the Wizards-Pelicans game. 236 is a big number, and I don't think the Pels offense will be as strong without Zion Williamson. The Wizards offense has not been itself with all the players they're missing. I'm sorry, I have got to go back to that LeBron clip before we get too deep into this.
There's just some things that you really can't control that's here that I really don't want to talk about. That's kind of like off the floor.
Look at how he says that, with like a little smile. He just drops that. He knows it's gonna get some reaction. Could it be Dion Waiters with the weed gummies? They're not testing for marijuana in the bubble, you know. Could it be Dwight Howard getting snitched on for not wearing a mask? All we know is the Lakers have something off the court, and on the court, their offense is completely broken. The Lakers have the worst offense in the bubble. They have made just 37 of 158 three-pointers. Even LeBron James is struggling. And guess what? None of that matters, like at all. First of all, they're not even a three-point shooting team. All the people who are focused on that bad stat are just way off. Second of all, this isn't the 1 seed LA Lakers. This is a totally unmotivated Laker team that's kind of experimenting with stuff. They have nothing to play for. They've already clinched the 1 seed in the West. They can't catch the Bucks for best overall record, and even if they could, there's no home court advantage. No, this is why I never thought the Lakers could win a title in the first place. Anyone letting these games influence their opinion hasn't watched a LeBron James team. For like a decade, every LeBron team goes through some sort of slump. I remember in Cleveland, it was like every January when the team wasn't that motivated, the media would freak out. Is LeBron done? And they'd be in the finals again every year. We should not freak out about the bubble Lakers. The real problem though with the Lakers has to do with their offense outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis, like the issue they've had all year. They do not have a secondary scorer or playmaker, and they're not that good in the half court. Oh, but we have Dion Waiters. Say that out loud again. You're relying on Dion Waiters? He is literally 3rd in field goal attempts in the bubble behind LeBron and AD. That is something to panic about. The one thing the Lakers can rely on, though, is their defense. They have the best defense in the West. That was before Avery Bradley opted out. And I'm gonna be honest here, I would be upset if I was the Lakers. I know Avery opted out because his kid has a health condition, and you can't criticize that. But behind the scenes, I bet they're pissed because it turns out the bubble is the safest place you can be. Without Avery Bradley, they do not match up nearly as well against elite backcourts, and that brings us to the Portland Trail Blazers. No team in the race for 8th scares the Lakers more than the Blazers. They have Dame and CJ in the backcourt. Yusuf Nurkic looks great. He dunked on my boy Bol Bol. Gary Trent Jr. is becoming a bubble star, and Carmelo Anthony is motivated as hell. He hit a big shot against the Rockets, the team that cut him, and his defense is up to par so far. This, of course, means I predict the Blazers are gonna get the 8th seed. And with how bad the Grizz are right now, it might be Portland against the Suns for that 8th seed, which would be awesome. You feel for Memphis, too. I mean, they lost Justice Winslow and Tyus Jones to injury, then Jaren Jackson Jr., but they did start with a 3.5 game lead and have lost all 4 games in the bubble so far. They only have themselves to blame. Now, some people will say that Portland's schedule is about to get real tough. And they're right. They have the Clippers, the Sixers, and then Dallas coming up. But I have faith in the Blazers with how they've played so far. There are 2 reasons why the Blazers scare the Lakers so much. And the first is they cannot guard 2 elite backcourt players. Of course, the Blazers have that in Dame and CJ. They can guard one of them with LeBron James. The other guy could go off. So it'll be a mix of like Danny Green sometimes, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And that's not a good thing. Look at this video of Dame cooking KCP. 8 possessions with KCP on Dame, 15 points. The second reason the Lakers are nervous is the Blazers are one of the few teams that can match the Lakers' size. LA is unique because they play with LeBron at the 1, AD at the 4, Dwight and JaVale McGee at the 5. They're a big team, but the Blazers can also play tall ball. They've got Nurkic, Zach Collins, Hassan Whiteside, and Melo, who are all mobile bigs to match up. So, how worried should the Lakers be about the Blazers in round 1? Not very. Not at all. Look, I love to make bold predictions on the channel, but I don't make those predictions like just for clicks. I make them because I really believe them, and I do not believe at all that the Blazers can upset the Lakers in round 1. First off, they will look like the regular season 1 seed Lakers again when the playoffs start and they're motivated. Second, the Blazers have no answer for LeBron James. They can put bodies on AD. We talked about the bigs that they can throw at the Lakers, but LeBron will dominate offensively and close games, which is huge, especially in the playoffs. I think the Blazers could win 2 games against LA, but that's it. These bubble games have not changed my prediction for the Lakers. I said months ago that they would get to the conference finals and get beat by the Clippers. It has changed though what I think about the Blazers. I predicted the Pelicans would get the 8th seed and I was dead wrong. I broke my own rule about believing in young players in big games. I did not see Yusuf Nurkic not needing any time to look like himself again. Usually it takes players like 6 months. I also didn't see Gary Trent Jr. taking this leap. He averaged 8 points a game this year. In the bubble, it's 20 a night. Now, Portland definitely is a threat to the Lakers, but I am not going to get fooled by an unmotivated LeBron James team like we've seen so many times before. I admit the bubble is a weird situation which could produce a weird result, but LeBron James has never lost a first-round series in his career, and it ain't happening now with the most talented teammate he has ever had. So far, the Blazers and Suns have been the most surprising teams in the bubble, and it would be really fun to see them do those play-in games for the 8th seed. In that case, I think the Blazers would win out, and there will be upset predictions in the media. Do not believe them. The Lakers by that time will be motivated and ready to crush whoever they face in the first round. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.